Previously on Power. Nah, previously on SquadGoals.
You can figure out people's MO if you just watch long enough. And my husband's MO at the time was, if we get into an argument, I got one up on you. I'm gonna bring this back up. And that was just because we both had toxic behavior. That was one of his toxic behaviors, to throw it back up in my face. I know at one point in time, because he had his own mental issues, his way of getting through his mental issues were to attack mine, to attack my wall, to bring it down. And we were together, married for 5 years, going on 6. I wouldn't have known a lot. Like, the things I went through with him taught me something. You never know the right time. It's you gotta just pay attention to people's behavior. They show it, and you can't allow love or sex to cloud your eyesight, to cloud, because it's always there. It's always been there. But if you pay attention to someone's actions, their beliefs, they can't just say one thing and their actions show another.
You know, and like I told you, my husband, I've been married to my husband since December. And it wasn't until, I think, like I said, me and Jeremy talked about it a couple weeks ago, that I was like, well, let me casually say this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We still haven't had that conversation because I feel like I'm dealing with it and I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm open. I have my triggers. I already told him about my triggers. I didn't tell him where they came from. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like that may be a conversation that I need to, you know what I'm saying, I need to have. I'm telling the world, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, in general, I mean, it really takes a person. I just know that for me, I married somebody and I still don't want to tell them. So I think it depends on the person. You know, you said that you're an open book. I'm an open book too, but I'm very private. Like, Malcolm been knowing me since probably 6th grade. He didn't know all this, so he probably just a shock to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, because I don't act like nothing happened to me. I brush stuff off and I keep it moving. But it wasn't until my husband seen me have a nervous breakdown when he realized I wasn't as strong. It wasn't until my mom seen that I have a nervous breakdown and she was like, oh shit, she really not as perfect as she seemed. You know, and that's where I say the triggers, I agree with you wholeheartedly, the smells, the triggers, because I think that could be why I'm attracted to dark-skinned men. This man was dark chocolate, black as 2 a.m. with some good hair. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I remember how he looked vividly. You know, and it was almost, in a sense, like I was looking for him at one point in my life because I was trying to figure out who the hell he was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it sucks. But, I mean, I feel like if I see him to this day, I would probably fall out and I wouldn't know what to do. You know, I'll probably turn into that little girl again, or I'll probably haul off and punch his ass. I mean, who knows, because my emotions. But yeah, I think it was the whole thing about it has made me defensive. It has made me, in a sense, I won't say not trust men because I don't feel like men are the issue. It makes me watch people more. And I think that's at that age, at a young age, it made me start to look at people every which way, from the way they look at you, the way they mannerism, the way they move it. So I think it made me more aware. So I don't know if that has happened to you, but it made me way more aware of my surroundings. And like I said, if you know me, if you done been around me, you can be like, damn, Lauren, she might seem like she crazy, but she ain't tell you no lie. Everything that I tell somebody how I'm feeling, it be the truth. And they call me and they be like, damn, you was right, friend. I should have listened. Hey, they ain't got nothing to do with me. I told you what it was. You know what I'm saying? So I think it just made me more aware. But I probably do need some counseling one day. Just not today.
I think we all lucky.
Yeah.
And I wanted to throw the ball to Katie real quick. I know you wanted to say something and couldn't really get to you. Katie.
I'm here. All right. Hey, y'all. First of all, Blazing, you look familiar, and I don't know where I know you from, but I used to live in Mobile, so I just want to say that. Because you had popped up on here, and I was like, I know this girl.
You're so funny.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say to y'all, like, I am so excited that you guys are so comfortable with talking about these things, like, because a lot of people are not comfortable enough to, like, you know, actually talk about stuff like that. And, you know, Jeremy, that's your name. So when you asked the question and you were just like, when is the right time to tell somebody? And Blazing just kept saying, like, I think both of them kept saying, like, there's no specific time to tell somebody, or the time is just never right. You just gotta go with your gut, you know? And it's funny because I just feel that it's not the time, but it's how comfortable you are. And so when you're already not really comfortable to talk about it, then telling somebody else is going to, like, give you this big type of insecurity that you were never asking for. And then it's going to shy you away from wanting to tell anybody else. Because like you said, you're already not comfortable talking about it, let alone telling somebody about it, trying to confide in somebody. And honestly, Jeremy, as a Black man, you can't, you know? And it sucks because Black men don't really have people to vent to. And so you try to vent to people whom you feel love you the most, like your girlfriend or your wife or, you know, something like that. But what they do is they just throw it back in your face and then make you feel insecure and stupid and gross and just like all types of shit like that or whatever. And it really sucks, but I feel like everybody needs somebody to talk to. So really sorry to hear about that, but you ain't need that bitch anyway.
Right.
And when it came to me,
I knew it was coming, y'all. I knew it. I knew she was.
She was the wrong one.
And like, honestly, when it came to me, the only time I told a guy was when I felt like we were taking that next step. Not like marriage or nothing, not that fast. Like these ain't no big steps, they kind of small. But we were taking steps, you know? So it was like I was like from an inch, like a half inch. So, you know, just taking little small steps going on up, you feel me? And, you know, I was just like, hey, just want to let you know that if you ever see me around here crying, breaking down, feeling kind of weird, don't want you to touch me sometimes, this is why. And I just go from there because number one, I'm comfortable with talking about it. But the funniest part about it is that hearing you guys talk about it actually made me kind of uncomfortable to talk about it. And why? I have no fucking idea. But when I'm talking to people who never been through it, it's easier for me because I always wanted to help people through it. So I'm just like, yeah, I've been through it. You can get through it. We can do it together and then go get ice cream. You know, like I'm just that type of person. Like, you know, let's just try to get it and get past it and just try to, like, you know, just try to just go from here, you know? And so people used to always ask me, like, you know, why you always smiling? If you've been through this and been through that, you always smiling, you always happy, you always this, you always And I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to be? What do you want me to be? What? Do you want me to be sad, depressed in the corner? Do you want me to be crying every goddamn day? Do you want me to come to school looking fucking stupid with my hair fucking everywhere and stuff? Like, oh my God, woe is me. What the fuck do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Okay, let me know what you want me to do, and I will come to school tomorrow and do it. But then, do you want to know what the fuck they say? Not a goddamn thing. Cause what the fuck you gonna say? Oh my God, that girl's so crazy. Cause like, you know, she be smiling stuff like some kind of psycho. No, bitch, I ain't no motherfucking psycho. I am a
So
whole.
have you thought that it was easier for you to help somebody else? Or I'll say this: have you thought that talking about it with us makes you comfortable? Because have you not dealt with it? You kind of dealt with the surface of it. Like, you see what I'm saying?
I think the reason why it makes me uncomfortable with you guys talking about it is because it was right here. Let me go grab it. Give me 1 second.
Grab it, girl.
Please, Kitty. I think that thing right there in the front.
Is that where it is? Okay, so I think it makes me uncomfortable, not because you guys are comfortable talking about it, but just because I've never been around genuine people who went through things. And
it makes a whole hell of a difference, for sure.
A whole hell of a difference. Because the people that I've talked to about it, because I didn't start figuring these things out till I was in college. And this stuff happened to me anyway, so like in college. So that was a very long time after what happened, you know. So the people that I talked to in college, my friends, they used to always want to top you. So it's not like they never wanted to have that discussion about it. They just wanted to have a competition about it. Like, oh, well, this happened to you. Well, this is what happened to me. That plus this plus that, and guess what? I get the rape award. Like, bitch, no, like this is not a competition.
But what I had to learn, like I said, I guess that's why I haven't told so many people, and I guess that's why I haven't even spoke in the group that I told you about that I'm on Facebook, is because I feel like these people are telling their story, but it's a thin line between wanting sympathy and wanting to say, well, look, this is what happened to me. Look at me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're still not dealing with it. They're just saying out loud, which has, you know, which entails have let them breathe a little bit better. They're not dealing with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, like you said, they wanted to one up you, or, you know, they wanted to be in competition of who got touched the most or whatever, is because they're not dealing with it. That could have been a defense mechanism for them. You know what I'm saying? So let me try to do this. Let me tell you about this. Ooh, let me do this about this. Let me tell you about this day. Because it could be how they cope with things. You know what I'm saying? I learned that people do different things with triggers and different coping mechanisms, you know, in order to deal with things day to day. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, you smile and ask and say, let's go get some ice cream. We done talked about it, cried, let's go move on. You deal with it by not dealing with it. You deal with it by talking about it, say what you need, and then you don't dwell. You see what I'm saying? You don't go out, you don't try to be deep. You deal with the surface and what's there, you know, to get it out and say it, because the more you say it, the better it'll get one day. And maybe one day you'll be able to just be as raw as possible. You know what I'm saying? But today ain't the day, and we ain't gonna make you do this shit. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna ask you to do this shit. You feel me? But as much as you want, I mean, when you talk about it, it'll get easier. You know, for me, like I said, listening to y'all, I'm like, damn, well, maybe I do need therapy. Talking about it out loud, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't really hit the surface. I mean, I already know how raw it is, but it doesn't bother me because I feel like I've overcame so much. You know what I'm saying? So I think you have a different coping than most people. Like for me, I don't know what my coping mechanism is. I think it's that cleaning up with somebody.
I feel like I'm not good with names, forgive me. But I feel like a lot of your ways of coping with it was how my mom coped with it. And I mean, that's your way of coping, but I could tell you what it feels like from a daughter being in that same it doesn't feel good. And I wanted to tell you this when you were talking about it. It doesn't feel good because you know what it does? It creates the same cycle inside of her. And she may never go through being raped and molested, but she'll have that fear of being raped and molested, and she'll live her life like that. Let me make sure
You're so true. You're so right.
And let me make sure I do this. Let me make sure I do that. This is the way mama raised me. I got to do this right, or this is going to happen. And it creates this fear and this generational curse in her, this generational cycle, that because this happened to mom, this got to be something that she might not know what happened to you, but I'm telling you, she's going to know something happened to you.
Right. And I agree with you, because I know talking to my pastor, it's crazy you say that. I talked to my pastor about something because I think my pastor was molested, and he talks about he was talking about how much I love my kids. You know, he was talking about you got to let go. He was like saying that the things that you're trying to teach her not to do, you're going to put that in the universal something. You're going to make something happen to her, something that you praying, you know what I'm saying? It was not that he's saying it was going to happen, but he was saying that if you keep putting it out there and keep making her so aware or keep making her so nervous about certain things that you're going to bring it into fruition in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I don't feel you, but I get what you're saying. You know, I know what he was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I let her be a kid. I let her dance. I let her do all of that stuff. I'm still ain't gonna never let my kid be that pop locking and dropping, because I know for me when I was a kid, I ain't do all that pop locking and dropping in front of my damn mom. I would have got knocked upside the head, you know. So I think for me, when it comes to her clothes, I still teach her about the specifics, you know, just the crossing the legs, being mannerable, you know, just being a little girl, you know. But I never take away saying, oh, well, you can't wear this because you're gonna look, you know, men are gonna look at you. But I do tell her to keep her damn tongue in her mouth. She does this thing with her tongue and it freaks me the fuck out. I don't know what it is, but it freaks me out. I'm like, dude, like, keep your damn tongue in your mouth. But it freaks me out, and I know that's probably one thing I do need to stop telling her, but it freaks me out. So I just make sure she got her tongue in her mouth. I don't know, I guess, you know, it take me back to college when, you know, you used to type like, you know, I just, you know, it just, I don't know. It freaks me out. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, because I don't want to make her, like you said, make it seem like it's a routine, like, oh, mama's coming, can't do this, can't do that. You know, I don't want her to think like that. So I get what you're saying. And I'm working on it. I feel you. Thank you for that. See, transparency. I received it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it.
You're welcome, honey bun. You know, I call people honey bun, so I'm sorry.
It's okay. Look, I'm from the South, and you was either gonna be sugar baby, honey, something.
When I heard the topic, initially my mind was somewhere else, but after hearing everybody else speak, it adds a level or a layer to basically what happened with me. I was in a 5-year relationship with my kid's dad, and you know, it was domestic violence was a big part of it. But at the very end of the relationship, every time we would break up and get back together, he would always use something to say, oh, I want my family back, or he would find a way to try to get back in there. Well, the very last thing that he used to try to get me back was, one, telling me of all the women that he slept with, basically clearing the air. And the other thing, yes, I do have kids. I have 2 boys, 6 and 7. But yes, the last thing was that he told me he was touched by his older brother when he was younger. At the time, I admit, I thought he was using it as a bargaining chip. I don't know if he really went through that. But my initial thing was he was trying to abuse my emotional state at the time to try to get us back. Because I had been staying in a domestic violence shelter and everything. That was like the last straw. This is the time where I finally moved out. I moved out of the house that was in my name that I was paying for, and went and stayed at a domestic violence shelter for 2 or 3 months while I was pregnant with my other son. And he used that as a bargaining chip, and I almost fell for it. But now I'm realizing that there could be some truth to the story, because like we all just said, hurt people hurt people. So it does explain some things that were happening within our relationship, but not everything. I can say that if it was true, that it definitely adds a layer to his personality, and also how he navigated through relationships after me. So I'm just glad you guys kind of brought that to my attention. I kind of thought it was a cry for help at that point, but he was also the type, every time we would break up, he would cry, you know, and it was the cry where there were no tears. So I never knew if it was sincere or not. I was a sucker. I see a man break down, you know, hold his head down and sound like he's crying. I'm crying too. I'm bawling, eyes crying. So, you know, the first couple times it happened, I was all there for it. But after it kept happening, every time I broke up with him and left, he would do that shit and get me back. Like, no, you can't keep using that. But now I do think that it could have been a cry for help. I just feel like his hurt me so to where it was best for us to part ways, for both of us to get the healing that both of us need. I don't know if he got his, but I know I'm getting mine. And the fact that I have the kids, I feel like my healing was more essential for them than anybody. So I'm just gonna put that out there and continue.
I want to say something to you. That was his trauma that affected his life. And the only reason I'm saying that, the way he interacted with you was his trauma. The things that happened to him, even down to the fact of him not being able to show actual tears when he's crying, that's all a part of his trauma. Manipulation, promiscuous, manipulation at its finest, because in our trauma, we learn how to manipulate. Someone manipulated him, took advantage of him. So in his head, right, like Blazion said, he adapted to that manipulation. And he learned that this is how I said I can get her to stay, by manipulation, because this is the only way I know how to show love. So it's all trauma. Everything is tied to some type of trauma, that inability to express emotions. Because I even do it sometimes, where someone manipulated me. So in order for me to get what I want, to get what I need, I fall into manipulation. Now I'm more aware, and I'm like, nah, that's manipulation. I gotta stop that. I gotta correct myself. He's not aware that he does it though. We think that people are aware and they just trying to run game on us. But no, you can subconsciously do something and not realize you're doing it.
I feel that 100%. It's like just waking up to it and recognizing it for what it is. And some people aren't there yet. And that's just the reality of it. And hopefully having these open dialogues will help people pursue those strands of thought, when they arrive, and not just brush it off to the side. Before we shut it down tonight, did anybody have any other comments or questions, or just, Malcolm, what you got, bro?
Earlier this week, I told Jeremy, I said, bro, I don't think I need to be on here, bro. I don't think I got nothing going on. So, about to be transparent, nobody ever has known what I'm about to say except for my ex-wife. And that ties into the whole throw it back at me type situation. It's just something, y'all know my story. We talked about my story very first episode 1 of cheating, of SquadGoals. So when I was I might have been about 9, there was a guy that stayed across the street from me. There ain't too many of y'all been in my house except for Lauren, but outside of my road, there's houses. And his dad used to come in our yard and catch raccoons and possums and stuff like that, because we live like in the forest, like with Snow White now, when all the animals come out and stuff. So I used to go over to the house and play the video game and stuff. And he touched me one time and then told me to touch him. And I just brushed it off as I went through life, didn't say anything about it, never told my mama, never told my dad, never told my sister, never told anybody. And he might have been like 13 or so. And I remember, and this ties into what y'all was saying about time and the important person. I remember telling my ex-wife when I felt like we were getting to that point, like, okay, we finna go far. And I remember telling her, and she even told me about the time that she had with a female, which explains why we ended up where we were to this point right now in life. So, anywho, it would be something to where she would throw it back at me in an argument. Or when she admitted that she slept with a female in our marriage, and of course I became disdainful about it, and y'all know the story, how I just never got over it because it was just still prevalent. where she would try to bargain it to the point of, well, you had that situation. What makes you different than me? So that was tough. And I even look at a situation that happened with an older female. It's probably why I like older females. So the young lady that went to my church, this is somebody that I still know. Like, was just at their house probably about 2 weeks ago. Somebody I still know. I remember we were sitting in church, not in the sanctuary, but in the other hall, where they have repasts and food and gatherings and stuff. And she sat by me and she put her hand on my leg, and she was like, and I was just sitting there. She was like, "You like that, don't?" And I was like, I really, I just smiled because I was like, "Oh, a woman touched me." You know what I'm saying? I remember my mama looking at the corner of her eye like, "This bitch." You know what I'm saying? I remember that. So as much as I was thinking about telling Jeremy earlier, I was like, yeah, I belong in this conversation. Now, did I become kind of promiscuous after I got older? Yeah. I wasn't out there, but I was out there. You know what I'm saying? But it would be with people that I knew. No males, but a lot of female. You know what I'm saying? Females. It would be people that I knew. But I guess I didn't realize that was a thing for me in my own personal life. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's all I had to say. I'll be quiet now. I feel like I say a lot.
No. Like I said, it's a matter of transparency. This is how we save the world, bro. Straight up. It's how we save lives and save the world, just by conversation and just being honest with ourselves enough to call a spade what it is, So this was a much needed conversation. I didn't expect this conversation to go as long as it did, but I think it went as long as it should have. So Lovely, we would love, no pun intended, to have you back. I'll definitely link up with you again, just see what your schedule's like, because you definitely offered a lot of insight, and we appreciate transparency, allowing people to heal through conversation. So thank you for taking time out your day.
You're welcome. And I want to thank y'all, because I don't see a whole lot of men that are willing to open up about their abuse and where they're at in life. And that Black men, let me say that, there aren't a lot of Black men that I've encountered that are willing to open up and be transparent about them. Like, I don't want y'all to stop that. I want y'all to keep being like real and open, because the stigma out here is that Black men have to be strong. Black men can't tell their brokenness.
Right.
And it should be normalized. It should be a thing. There is strength in sharing about your weaknesses. And a lot of people don't know that. So I just want to thank y'all, because just seeing that just gives me a whole new outlook. Like, there are some Black men out here that are trying to fight against the norm.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That means more than you know. And to anybody who is watching this video, I'm going to include in the description some of the links where you can go and discuss traumatic events like this with counselors. There are certain programs that do allow you to speak with a counselor for free. I just found out about it not long ago through a conversation with Malcolm, and it was brought back to my attention while doing my research for this episode. I did homework, y'all. But again, this has been your boy, Sir. SquadGoals. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.